Skedaddle skedoodle. I went to a Brockhampton concert in Tampa.
Is it okay if we do another song? This song is very boy band friendly, so can everybody give me a big smile? Smile really big, smile real big. Drop it.
The bag in the cup, add it up, add it up. Put my friends in the truck, add it up, add it up. If you're thinking on me now, that's enough, that's enough. If you're thinking on me now, that's enough, that's enough. Put the bag in the cup.
Okay, so there's Brockhampton is this about a dozen or so people. They call themselves a boy band, but that's not really what their sound is reminiscent of. They're trying to redefine that kind of stuff, but they're this rap collective, and they make this really cutting edge, really good stuff, and they make it really fast. Like, them and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are like the two most prolific dudes in music today, and like that are actually, they put out quality stuff. And yeah, so they were going on tour. This is their second tour, their Love Your Parents tour, which it has the picture of the four guys, the two kids and them. I don't know who they are, but yeah, they had a show in Tampa on the 26th, which I don't know when this is going up. It's probably going to be in February. But yeah, so I got out of school Friday. Well, I didn't get out of school completely. I had to do the first period because I had a test in geometry. You know how that goes. You kind of got to do that stuff so you don't have to do it on Monday. But yeah, I got out second period. We went on over my mom's house where we packed up the stuff. Didn't have power for a few minutes, and then we turned back on. There was a lizard in the house, and I packed up my stuff, went over, got a croissant, a breakfast croissant on the way. And then we arrived in Tampa, and we were like, okay, so we looked up a few stores that we wanted to go to. So a couple record stores, and this one video game store called M&M Video Games up in, it's kind of north of, I think it's north, because you kind of go like really far away from Orlando. You kind of lose your sense of like direction unless you've been there a lot. It's weird. It's like a that's what I was kind of thinking, because there's so little difference between Orlando and Tampa, but there's like it feels like Tampa's just another part of the city that I just haven't. Yeah, so we went on over to kind of north. It was near the airport, and it was kind of like barren, and it felt like a wasteland, but it was still kind of urban, and I really didn't like it. And then we came across M&M, the video game store. It was very small, and it was pretty trashy. It was like a very trashy not Virgin. It was like the Virgin video game store to the Chad, like Cybertron or Blue Dragon. If any of you guys know where that is, Blue Dragon is up in Ormond, and Cybertron is in Orlando. They're both really cool, but this was like the Virgin version of that. So yeah, they had a bunch of Atari games, but I don't have any Atari consoles. They had this N64 for what I assume to be cheap, which is $60, which seems pretty cheap because we have a couple N64 games that just don't have a console for it. I got freaking GoldenEye this is a different sort of place in Florida, but I got GoldenEye new in box, $10. That was cool. I also saw Ocarina of Time new in box, $10. I didn't get that one, but yeah. So Tampa, after that, we went to this record store. It was much less trash, which was yeah. Anyways, we went on over to this small record store, and we looked around for some vinyl. And they actually had this really cool thing. Like, local bands, they don't get a lot of coverage. That's why, if you watch, you probably didn't, but if you watch this channel and it's very, 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 very early stages, I was doing album reviews of local artists, and most of them were like alright, but this was kind of like a thing where they had this stand and you could listen to them, because local artists, love you guys, but they're kind of a crapshoot. Like, you got the Mark with the C's, which is, like, really good kind of indie rock. And then you got, like, just drone music that doesn't I mean, of course, there's a time and a place for drum music, but it's not really for me. And so they had this whole stand, and they had some vinyl, and we got a couple. Shout out to the Co-Eds for making a pretty awesome punk album, and we got that on CD. Shout out to, there's this one where like the cover was like this hotel pool, and it was a yellow vinyl. That's cool. I like that. And so, yeah, after that, we got a couple of those local goodies. We tried to find our way to our apartment, which we got inside. We couldn't find the resident parking for a while, and then we got in. We got in, there was a smell, and I couldn't really place it. My dad was like, oh, it smells like weed. I was like, yeah, I guess that's it. Because I haven't smelled weed, personally, because I'm a good little boy. But yeah, so we put our stuff down. Pretty nice apartment. Bell Channel Side is what it's called. Good stuff. Don't live there, because it's a pretty awful location, but it was cheap, and it was fairly close to the venue. And so we walked on down to get some pizza from Sam and Eddie's, which is like a really good place. They import their water directly from New York. Then we walked back. Some characters we saw on the way. There's a couple people who were definitely not homeless, looking for some money. And we saw some news reporters. There's like this news reporter, and then all across the street there was another news reporter, and it looked like they were recording each other. It was kind of strange, but you know. And then we waited a little bit. Then we got an Uber on over to the venue, which is the Ritz Ybor, I think is how you say it. It's YBOR. And went on over there. Took a couple minutes. We got there like right at 7. And that was kind of a mistake, because there were so many people in line. It was like it stretched around the building. It went on the corner of the building. Then it went all the way down the train tracks, like halfway across the building. But that was actually pretty cool, because when we first got in line after a couple minutes, we got up to like the alleyway behind the venue, and we actually saw some of the band members go in and out of the tour bus. And I saw Amir, who was in a white t-shirt with some headphones. He grabbed something. I saw Romil, and I saw a couple guys in green hoodies who, it might have been Alton, he was kind of the engineer in the middle. Definitely saw Romil. That was pretty cool. What else? So, yeah, we got inside after a while. Let me just say, I guess I was expecting it, but there were a lot more people than I expected, and they were all under 21. There were only like 20, like I think they said 10% of the people there were over 21, probably including my dad. And so like they were all probably like 20 to 17. Of course, I was kind of an outlier because I was a small 14-year-old child.
Well, young small boy.
Small man. So yeah, we got on in. What else? Oh yeah, we when we first got in, the merch line was like going so far back, it was going into the stage itself. Not on the stage, but like where you stand, like the kind of mosh pit. But we stood there for a while. I had the picture of Tupac. I don't know if I can show that. I don't think I got any images of it. It was like a Tupac quote. It was like, if you knew how long it takes and how much it costs to be famous, then how much it costs like mentally. That's not money, but how much it does to be famous, then you won't want to be famous. So, they started playing, and it was really loud, which I expected, but it was very, very good. They started with Boogie, which is one of my favorite songs. It's so good. It's like, da-da-da-da. They actually sampled the Miiverse theme in that. Yeah, so like during the da-da-da, it kind of sounds like synth, but they're actually taking the notes from the Miiverse theme and just kind of stretching them out. They put that in the documentary. I thought that was pretty cool. And they had the aliens on the screen. It was pretty weird. I actually got a couple songs fully on footage until my phone inevitably ran out of storage and my arm started hurting, so I stopped recording all of it. They went to Star, then they did let's see, what else did they do? They did Star, and then they did Gummy, and then I think they did Queer, and then they did Gold, and then they did Bump, and then they did Face, which is a great song, but I figured, hey, We should look at the merch line and see how many people are in it. And of course, it was like cut down to less than half of what it was. And so we got in line, and that took like a good few songs. Unfortunately, I missed out on Swamp, which is like, oh my god, I love Swamp. They didn't play Tokyo. I know that's one of Davis's favorite Brockhampton songs.
I love Tokyo.
They didn't play it. They didn't play that many ones that weren't singles. They played Jello for some reason, which it's grown on me, but I'm not the biggest fan of Jello. Once I got back, I got the orange tour hoodie. As you can see, it has that nice tour hoodie aesthetic to it. I like it. Is there? Okay, good. Because I dropped some chicken on it last night, and I was afraid they would leave a stain, but it didn't, of course. I washed it immediately after, so yeah, and then so they played a few songs, and at the very end, they just they started playing. They played Star again, and they played it again, and then they played it again, and then they played it a fourth time, and then they played it a fifth time, and then they were done. I gotta say, I was a bit sick of Star. I love that song, but okay, hearing it 5 times in a row with no changes, it's a bit repetitive.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
It's the definition of repetitive, actually. It is the embodiment of repetition. Yeah. So the mosh pit I was next to there's a few people. They were all like taller than me because they were all like 20-year-olds. My dad was right there. And this one guy, he had this long hair, and he was smoking some weed. He was smoking the blunt smoke. He kind of blew it into my hair. Washed that, but that was nice. It was like I was the only one that wasn't jumping, because even if I was jumping, I just would have been like, I wouldn't have been like actually jumping. It just would have been, yeah. But I was trying to get some footage. I wasn't obsessed with it because I wanted to, experience some of the concert for myself, because this is like a cool, it's a experience. It's a concert. It's a live, I think they call it like a live show experience by Brockhampton. And like basically on the dot at 10, I think it was like 9:50, they just like, they did Star the 5th time, and then they just were done. Yeah, and then we went home, and we went to bed, and then we woke up. We went to Daddy Cool. Actually, no, we went to, because we had heard that previous day that NHL, they're doing this big NHL kind of thing, and this big hockey game, and it was going to be like this pirate thing and this drinking fest, and so we got the heck out of there. And then we went over down to St. Petersburg, which is actually a really nice city. Everybody there is rich, and it's like really, really good restaurants and stuff. But yeah, we went to a cafe. We went to the Dolly Museum. Did I tell you about that?
I love the Dolly.
Dude, the Dolly is so cool.
It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I like the garden area outside.
Yeah, there's actually, oh my god, there were people getting married in the garden area, but you know the song they were playing?
What song were they playing?
They were playing 500 Miles by the piano version. The piano version.
The piano.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was like embarrassed. Just
500 more.
If you like that song, it's just a good song. It's just kind of kitschy,
Song.
but it's like, why would you play it at a wedding? This is the biggest day of your life, and you play 500 Miles by the band. I don't remember the band name, but
it's got a good message, but
it's got a. I wish they would like. Oh, you know what I'm gonna play at my wedding? I'm gonna play 500 Chunks, the Minecraft parody version of 500 Miles.
I will load 500 chunks.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Then we went to Daddy Cool, which is a very acclaimed record store in St. Petersburg. I went the time before, but it was like, it was alright. But they added some new stuff. They painted the walls so it didn't look as like barren. But yeah, we got there. I'll talk about it in a later a vinyl quest. Check that out if you haven't before. But I got Eminem Marshall Mathers LP for $5 because I figured, hey, people were talking about how great this Eminem guy was, so I went over and I got his that stuff. And I got Aladdin Sane, which you will hear about in a different video. But yeah. Then we went on the way back. The oldest record store in, I think, St. Petersburg. It's not that much of an accomplishment because there are not that many record stores. I got to be honest there. But yeah, it's very kind of retro-y kind of styled. And I got Heathen, the David Bowie album, the 2002 David Bowie album, for $4 used on CD. There were so many used vinyls. There was like walls on top of walls. There's just bins of used vinyls of like classical stuff and jazz and soul, and like all this different stuff. And it was pretty crazy. The vinyl in there was so old it probably was made of wax and it would have melted. But yeah, if you want to build a city of vinyl, then that would be the place to go. And so we went back, and yeah, that's the end of the Tampa trip. So, yeah, that Brockhampton concert was pretty dang cool.
That's great.
The only thing I didn't really like about it was the star playing 5 times at the end. I know, like, that gets people hyped, but it's a little, over and over again. It doesn't have the same effect. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing if you like this content and you want to see more. So yeah, share this video if you want to share it. Yeah, if you want to share it, then share it. Go ahead. And bye.
Would you go when I die? What if I spend my whole life being a badass boy with a crate on the side? I keep my face in my lap, wanna sit in the back. My mom drives